But this is very exciting. We obviously have a lot going on, both with January 6th and legislatively. And Representative Eric Swalwell was with the president just this morning, and he joins us now, one of our rock stars from California. Good morning, Representative.
Hey, Stephanie. Good morning to you. You're on the West Coast, so it is early.
Yes.
I'm back in Washington and just left a meeting with President Biden right before he heads to Europe for a climate summit.
I live in Hollywood. I've never been so happy to hear a name drop like that. Now tell us what is happening with this very ugly sausage that's being made legislative. What's the latest?
Washington's Hollywood for nerds and ugly people, right?
Yeah, right.
That's the real.
That doesn't apply to you. But okay, let's move on to what is happening legislatively with this very ugly sausage that we see being made. Can you give us the latest?
We're going to do something this week bigger than what Franklin Roosevelt and Lyndon Johnson did together. If you take the two, the Great Society and New Deal programs, we'll do something in the next couple of days that's bigger than that. And so we've got $1 trillion infrastructure bill that's going to be passed, and then the Build Back Better agenda, which is, $500 billion in clean energy and climate jobs, investments, taking on, climate chaos. Medicare hearing. I've got two parents. I hope they're not listening. Well, they're going to be listening better because hearing aids are going to be covered now.
My Trump voting Republican mom with hearing aids. It's good that she can't hear me because she does not want to hear it. But Congressman Swalwell,
it's unbelievable how much hearing aids cost. I mean,
I know
thousands of dollars, and now they're going to be covered under Medicare. And then
and she's in a nursing home, and they lose them frequently. So no, I know exactly.
Speaking of nursing homes, we're making the biggest investment ever in home care services for our aging population who too often have to have family members take off work, or they lose everything they have to pay for affordable housing. And then as a parent, I'm encouraged to see that the child tax and earned income tax credit is going to be extended. And for many families, they're seeing every month, a couple $100 for each kid put into their bank account. That's going to be extended. And so, as I said, the biggest investment ever in families, in the workforce, and students. You've got, $40 billion in additional investments in historically black colleges and universities. So, and we're paying for it, by the way.
Yeah.
This isn't Republicans adding to the debt. There's going to be a corporate minimum tax on large corporations, a stock buybacks tax.
Okay, so wait.
We've seen a lot of corporations benefit from the Trump tax cuts and just invest it in buybacks. That's not going to happen anymore.
Okay, Representative Swalwell, Hank, I don't know if there's hearing aids for people that have been in radio too long and have, seriously, I've had some hearing loss, but are you breaking news here? Are we, all of this, inside we've been hearing for 2 days, are we past these log jams with Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema? Because
what I saw today from the Speaker and the President is that we're ready to bring this to a vote. And frankly, anywhere we come up short, we're going to go to the voters in 2022, and we're going to tell them, give us a larger majority, so that you're not seeing is such a small crowd holding us back on what we can do. But right now we've got, as I said, bigger than the New Deal. To me, that's a win, and I think the Speaker and the President see it that way, and so we're expecting a vote to be imminent.
Wow. Okay. Breaking some news here on the Stephanie Miller Show. So do you, I mean, I guess, as you watch the legislative process, obviously, particularly for progressives, we're watching what we thought was a giant bratwurst, and it is now a cocktail weenie. And but I do take your point that if we get bigger majorities, not only can we make Manchin and Sinema irrelevant, we can also expand, like on Medicare, Social Security, anything that we've obviously had in the past, and then have been able to expand on it. So is that your...
And I think you're right, and I would say the voters need a down payment, right? You can't tell the voters, we're going to hold back, we're going to give you nothing that helps you in your lives until we get a bigger majority. No, the down payment is this. This shows that we can govern, and that, as I said, we can govern with family-friendly policies bigger than the New Deal. And yes, give us a bigger majority. And by the way, the cost of not having us in the majority, is a crew that is anti-voter, anti-woman, pro-shooter, pro-industry, pro-pollution, and so that's what's at stake here. But for us to define the stakes, we need to show that there's a down payment on, policies that are going to help people.
So, Representative Swalwell, the president obviously delayed his trip till early this afternoon. He's going to speak to us in about an hour. What's he going to say? Is he? I mean,
I imagine, and I don't want to speak for the president, but I imagine he's going to lay out how families are going to be lifted and sustained economically through this Build Back Better framework. And the greatest crisis we face existentially, in climate, we're making the largest investments ever that will also create jobs rather than losing jobs. And so I expect it'll be what he told the caucus, and I hope Americans are as fired up as I am to vote for it.
When will this go to the floor, are you saying exactly?
We're hearing today.
Wow.
And so
okay.
The president is headed over to Europe, and it would be a real boost, in his confidence in American, I would say, credibility for him to land there and for his allies and peers to see that he's delivered on this.
Is paid family leave in it in any capacity?
Is
the billionaire tax in it in any capacity?
And so on paid family leave, which I absolutely support, that's where we're going to have to come back with the bigger majority to get it. Now, every federal worker in America has paid family leave, and I was part of authoring that legislation. But that's where we need to show that we can deliver results here, but we're not done yet. And then, I think
the billionaire tax is that in?
So on the Wyden tax that was proposed yesterday is not, but it was reformed with this corporate minimum tax, which could capture up to $325 billion, as well as investing massively in the IRS, where we believe we can bring back up to $400 billion in revenue that is being, either put in shell corporations or not being reported. So by more robust IRS enforcement against the wealthiest, we see opportunities there. And then frankly, an annual gross income surcharge on the top 2.02%. So that's the billionaires right there. That would bring approximately $230 billion. That could come in.
Very exciting. Let's turn to January 6th. I've been reading your colleague Adam Schiff's book, who we just had on a couple days ago, Midnight in Washington.
I've been running and listening to it. It's terrific.
I was just going to say, guess who's a star in it? You!
Well, he's
you
very
are
funny, too. I hope that comes out. He's got a real sense of humor.
Yeah.
We all see him as, serious, person of integrity,
You're
generational leader, but he's actually really funny.
Yeah, you're both amazing. We spoke a couple days ago of his pencil neck and watermelon head. So he's very well. Yeah,
he laughs at it.
Yes, he's very well humored about it. Yeah. Congressman, but you again, he basically speaks of you as really being one of our heroes, and you really are. That you're a fighter. You said unequivocally on Twitter yesterday, any member of Congress who plotted with the January 6th terrorists must be removed from Congress. Yeah. I mean, this Rolling Stone reporting, Congressman, of course, they're all vehemently denying it, but it sounds to me like there is other evidence, and it sounds like Benny Thompson has some of that other evidence connecting some of your colleagues. What is your take on all this right now?
So they're a submarine operation right now, which means they're below the surface, they're gathering evidence, they're taking depositions, but they're going to surface. And when they surface, the whole country is going to hear the evidence that they have. And what was most disturbing to me of the Rolling Stone piece was that there's this allegation that blanket pardons were out there. Now, every American has a right to peacefully protest the outcome of an election, and anyone that went to that protest to just peacefully state their concerns, I don't agree with them, but that's their right. And I know that people don't agree with, me when I go to a Black Lives Matter protest. It's my right and the right of the community to do that. But if blanket pardons were being discussed by members of Congress, that goes beyond a peaceful protest, because you don't need to be pardoned for doing something peacefully. You only need to be pardoned for doing something illegally, which in this case was the violence brought against dozens of police officers and the members and the staff who were terrorized. So that's where we want to know, was there foreknowledge that violence was going to take place? and what role, if any, did members of Congress have in that?
Do you have confidence, Representative Swalwell, from Merrick Garland's testimony yesterday that he is not constraining the FBI or D.C. police in any way as they investigate the insurrection? Could you get any sense? I mean, are you in the camp that he should appoint a special prosecutor, or you have confidence in what is happening or not at the DOJ?
I have confidence. And I recognize why people are pissed off and frustrated, but I also, as a former prosecutor, know that Merrick Garland walked into a building where 0 investigations under Bill Barr had taken place into Trump or his cronies, and that these type of investigations take months. Actually, they usually take years. And so we have to assume he started with nothing having been looked at. And so ask me again in a year if I have confidence. But right now, I think it's too early to say that he hasn't done enough, because the work that would need to be done literally would have started when he took over. And so I don't think that's a fair attack, frankly.
Okay,
on
fair enough. So let's talk quickly. Yesterday, we had Merrick Garland testifying about all these real violence and violent threats against school boards. We had Ted Cruz, as you say, just Ted Cruz defending Nazis. Nothing more to see here. But, in terms of death threats, you shared a chilling voicemail sent to you by a Tucker Carlson fan right after, Tucker Carlson. And he actually said he had just watched Tucker Carlson's show. It was there were racist, homophobic, and sexist epithets talked about you and your family being chopped up and fed to the dogs. The homophobic is great because you're not gay, but that always ends up getting, I don't know why. It just all goes together, doesn't it? Misogyny, racism, homophobia.
Well, that's what he sees on Tucker's show, right?
Right.
Racism, misogyny, homophobia, sexism, yes, and then pandering to the corrupt. So yes, that's what he watched.
Yeah.
So Tucker radicalizes his audience, fires them up, incites them, and he knows that what they will do once they turn off the television is they're going to aim their venom at Tucker's targets. And Adam Schiff and Speaker Pelosi and Joe Biden, we're in the crossfire of Tucker Carlson. And I have told him person to person, and I've texted him and have told him that when he lies about me, that death threats come our way. And that's why I won't go on a show when he asks. And so he knows, he has knowledge that this happens, and he does it anyway, which means that's what he wants to happen.
I wanted to just bring your attention real quick. I know you have to go, but he has just previewed some special he's running that's called Patriot Purge. Alleges liberals are going to start to purge patriots, suggesting January 6th was a false flag operation. You have to tell me if this is fire in a crowded theater. I mean, I know you don't have time to talk about this now, but this seems like, as many times as Tucker Carlson has crossed the line, this is very, very serious, what he's inciting.
It's a tribute to terrorists. Is what he is airing. And I received a text this morning from Officer Fanone saying, what the absolute F is this? I mean, imagine if you fought in hand-to-hand combat, you suffered a traumatic brain injury, you had a heart attack, defending the Capitol, defending the people inside, Republicans and Democrats, and then the cable news host for Fox with the largest audience in America is doing a tribute video, not to you, the police hero, but to the terrorists, the cop killers of January 6th. That's what Tucker's doing, and that's who Fox News has become.
Okay. I'm glad you know about it. Thank you for fighting the good fight always for us out here in California and for all the patriots.
Thank you to your listeners.
All right. Thanks, Representative. Bye-bye. Yeah. Okay.
Ow.